Get Krishna Sanghavi in CIO Equities at Mahindra Manulife Investment Management. Krishna, good to have you with us here. Thanks very much. 100-point gain on the Nifty, past 25,000. First thoughts? Krishna, you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself, please.
Sorry, yeah. Thanks for having us. I think 25,000 is a good milestone. Broadly, in line with everything, economy stroke, market momentum in place. Some of these milestones are good to have, and hopefully we'll have, many more such. But I think the broad connect is simple. Economy is doing reasonably okay. Long-term track in place, and currently the market mood is slightly more driven by liquidity and sentiments, and that's something we need to be slightly more watchful in terms of the sentiment and the momentum part of it.
Now, Krishna, just to sort of come back to you, Surabhi was talking about the wealth management names. So you've got to look at if the, it's logical. If India is going to get richer, market caps are going to go higher. Wealth management and specialized services on the financial side. I mean, that's going to be needed. I just wanted your thoughts on this aspect. Could this be a secular story, notwithstanding intermittent falls, etc., which are to be expected in the market? These are at the end of the day market-dependent businesses, but from a longer view, how are they looking, even from a valuation point of view?
Yeah, no, sure. I think from an economy side, clearly India is one of the fastest growing nominal GDP economy. Nominal GDP creates income, and people have income to save because once the consumption needs are met. So I think that macro story of wealth creation is in place through the capital marketplace. Challenge can be possibly valuation, but honestly, some of these valuation concerns are can be diluted only by taking a longer term view, and that's where some things may be useful to say, okay, the macro story is in place and some of these businesses will benefit. But currently, I think broadly, the way broad market itself is slightly richly valued. I think some of these companies by default run a risk of earnings in case the market does correct, and because this business is not only the multiples but even the earnings are linked to markets.
Krishna, what's your sense? There's been leadership change. This rally has had very different leaders, right? The erstwhile stars, Bajaj Finance, HDFC Bank, or even leave some of the FMCG boys. They have not been the poster boys of this rally. What do you expect from here on? 25,000 onwards, say the next 5,000 point journey, who will be the stars?
Yeah, sure. So if I had to add, one more angle to this long-term compound.
Okay, by the way, Krishna, just hang on for a second because we have a very special guest who's going to be joining in. Great day for him to be coming in here as well. That is Mr. Anish Shah, Dr. Anish Shah of Mahindra & Mahindra. He is our special guest. He's, I think, coming up to the studios in the next couple of minutes. And so much to talk about, right? All the group companies at Mahindra & Mahindra. M&M doing exceedingly well. The auto segment itself, and auto tractors firing on all cylinders. It's Tech Mahindra, that story to talk about. And of course, just the animal spirits within India Inc. as the market is celebrating GDP growth, corporate growth, and so much more. So that's Swati accompanying Mr. Shah, and they will be with us shortly.
Oh, absolutely. Krishna, do you own Mahindra, by the way, in the portfolio?
Well, we are Mahindra Manulife, so even as an organization, part of the
anything.
Good timing then.
Anything you'd like us to ask him for you?
No, I would like to hear more like what you're asking. No, I think let's look at that macro picture of economy, earnings, and one variable I'd like to add is even the Indian economy has broadly compounded as 12% nominal over the entire, this similar, journey right from the time Nifty was, let's say, 1,000 odd. So that biggest connect to economy and markets is what, we just simply have to be aware. And coming to those questions about some specific stocks, which may or may not have done well in this journey, I think if you look at a longer picture of, this 10, 15, 20 years, one macro theme is that as long as economy keeps on doing well, each of these sectors, each of these stocks, have their own chance to participate in the profit pool accretion in the economy, because if you look at earnings profile, I think not every year every sector grows similarly, right? There is this cross current between sectors. Some sectors benefit, some are leads, some are lags. So to that extent, when we look at some of these companies or sectors which may not have done well, I think the same picture changes. Instead of September 23, had we look at maybe September 21 or maybe September 19, the numbers change. which also brings to the picture that currently what's happening in the market really is that while the valuations are clearly favoring large caps, I think the flows and maybe the momentums are far more in favor of small caps, mid caps, maybe, or maybe micro caps. I think that's a challenge right now in markets. Economy, as long as we do well, I think one should right now favor large caps as a better outperformance category, especially when it integrates the valuation. But yeah, let's not forget, in a macro journey of last 20 years, too many small caps would have become mid caps, and some of those mid caps would have become large caps also. So that's how these individual companies grow and maybe grow to higher levels on market caps and maybe wealth creation.
Krishna, our next two conversations are actually going to be, on the auto sector. So let's get your sense in as well. Look at the way the market's rewarding Maruti, for instance, because those numbers were really better than expectations. But there is a school of thought that overall sales are slowing down after the post-COVID high that we had, the big numbers that we had in FY23. 24 has been a little more muted. What's your sense when you're looking at auto, and how would you play it? The stocks have done very well. The question is whether the growth will continue.
Yeah, sure. I think growth continues. Maybe the only challenge can be for the market can be the growth rate. So if we are used to a very strong growth rate in FY24, maybe we're talking about something like a single digit, maybe somewhere around 4 to 7%, depending on what agencies would have reported. And maybe individual companies can grow slightly more based on their own volume growth. Maybe there's some companies had a supply constraint last year. So if those supplies are falling in place, they will grow much faster. But as a broad space, I think passenger vehicles should be more in that maybe 5-7% growth, and similarly maybe two-wheelers and CVs too. So growth can be moderated, but yeah, it's still a growth.
Okay. All right. That's the auto space. I think in the next couple of minutes, we'll be touching base with the management of Bajaj Auto as well. And we'll get a sort of, update on the numbers. By the way, the monthly sales numbers for Bajaj Auto have been looking quite good, about 11% up overall. And the domestic sales numbers are up almost 18%. So that growth is continuing. And even exports have shown a bit of an increase. I think just a 2% increase, not too much. But those numbers have been looking very, very well. So, okay. Do we have the management of Bajaj Auto with us? Okay, I think we have them. Krishna, thank you very much. Good chatting with you on the markets. The journey continues 25,000 and onwards. You have a good day.